I spent 20 years working at some of the world's most loved brands, from Disney, Warner Brothers to Puma. And on paper, I had the dream career. Big titles, global campaigns, and lots of stamps in my passport. But one day I realized something quietly devastating. I didn't know who I was outside of my job title. So I decided to find out. I walked away from the only system I had ever known to create something of my own. And this is what I've learned so far. Stick with me. So let me take you back to the beginning, because this wasn't a sudden decision. I grew up in Eastern Europe, in Romania, in a small city by the Black Sea, and my parents were among the first to build a private business in our city after the communism fell. They ran a local distribution business selling cosmetics and fragrances. So I was surrounded by brands from a very young age. Not the polished version you see in advertising, but the messy, behind-the-scenes version of it all. Think packaging, logistics, sales rep, inventory. I saw what it really meant to build a business from scratch and to serve people. But like many daughters of first-generation entrepreneurs, I was raised to fit in, to do well in school, to speak well and present well and get the kind of career that looked good on paper. I learned to adapt to systems early on. So I got so good at being the best in the room, but also quietly disappearing inside the role. So when I got into corporate, I was ready to play the game. My first job was at Disney in Spain, and working there was like brand school on steroids. It was there that I learned everything I know about storytelling, positioning, and emotional connection. And then came Warner Bros. Big IP, big strategy, global rollouts, and eventually Puma, where I spent a decade working on global brand and entertainment partnerships, shaping the voice of one of the coolest sports brands in the world. And I'm so proud of every chapter. Each one shaped me in very different ways. But here's what most people don't talk about. When you work at brands like this, they slowly become part of your identity. So for years, I was Oana from Disney, then Oana from Warner, and for over 10 years, I was Oana from Puma. It's not just where you work, it becomes who you are. Until one day, it just isn't anymore. When I decided to leave, it wasn't just a job I was walking away from, it was my whole identity. No one really prepares you for the moment when you no longer have the title, the team, or the email signature. The first few months after I left were emotionally strange. They were exciting, but quite disorienting, because suddenly there was no system to plug into. No meetings culture, no approval process, no org chart anymore. So I had to create everything from scratch. The rhythm, the messaging, the vision, even how I introduce myself to people. And honestly, there was a little bit of grief, because you don't just lose a job, you lose the validation that came with being someone inside the system. And you also lose a lot of people along the way. So it can become really lonely at times. But with that space came something else quite amazing. It came clarity. And here are the 5 big lessons I've learned since choosing the entrepreneurial path. Number 1, you will grieve your old identity. You're not just leaving a company, you're leaving a version of yourself that the world admired. You're leaving a lot of people behind, people that were really close to you. And you know what? That's okay. Let yourself feel that for a little bit and then let yourself grow. Number 2, you learn at turbo speed. Every week as a founder feels like a complete MBA, only faster, more intense, and with no refund policy. So you're forced to make decisions and test ideas and deal with doubt and keep moving even when no one's watching or clapping for you. And you have to do that every single day. Number 3, clarity comes from motion. You know, in corporate, clarity comes from planning, but in entrepreneurship, clarity comes from moving, actually doing stuff, from trying, from failing, from talking to your customers, from showing up. And you cannot think your way into confidence. You have to build it through doing. Number 4, energy becomes the real KPI. And listen up, this is a big one. I used to measure impact through ROIs, KPIs, dashboards. But now my most important metric is actually energy. If something drains me, I will delegate it. That's why I use AI tools like ChatGPT and ClickUp and Canva, Planable, 11 Labs to remove friction and protect my creativity. Number 5, no one's coming to save you. And I think that's beautiful. Listen, there's no brand name to hide behind anymore, no safety net, no boss to tell you you're doing great. But that's where the magic happens, because every win is fully yours and you realize you never needed permission. You just needed space. And now, if you're listening to this and thinking, well, maybe it's my time too. Well, let me be really honest with you about what it actually takes to make the leap. Because clarity is powerful, but it's not enough. You need safety to jump, not just the courage to take the leap, but you also need a parachute. So do me a favor, don't quit without a plan. Don't leap without a financial runway. Give yourself 3 to 6 months of living expensive, and not because you'll need it all, but because you'll need to feel safe while you figure it out. And second, please ask for help. This is not a solo game. Find your mentors. Talk to people who have done it. Join learning communities. I didn't do this alone, and neither should you. So if you're standing at the edge between staying and starting, here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to hate your job to know it's no longer yours. And you don't need to burn it all down to build something new. You can just be proud of the journey that got you here and still be ready for your next chapter. Now, leaving corporate wasn't a rejection of the past. It was an invitation into my own future. And if this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear yours. So drop a comment and tell me, are you still inside the system or are you building your way out? And if I can ask you for a favor, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm building this channel for those of us redefining success in real time. And know this, you're not alone. And if no one's told you this yet, you're allowed to want more and to go build it.